I couldn't believe they did this. I could not believe they did this. I could not believe they did this. The best part is you already have a taste of what modern Terry is going to be like just from Smash Brothers. But I'm thinking modern Mai? Imagine if like EX Fans does like what it does in some games where you have another one that pops up or something like that. The screen control with that shit. One button supers, you know, that you go full screen. Like that character, her in modern mode? That's what I'm saying. She might be, her fireball game might be real nasty. It depends on like what angle they take with. Also, her air-to-air game. Oh! What if they give her the fucking like fall control move? What's it called? Her in the air could be real good. One button my maximum spider super. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shit like that. It really just depends on what angle they want to go with her. It's interesting to note here too. This is a Fatal Fury collab, not a KOF one. Those are different games, mind you. I'll say this, with this DLC, I thought it was tight. I was really surprised. I was like, oh man, just because, you know, on some fanboy shit, and I tweeted this, like, bruh, you know how crazy it is? Capcom versus SNK and the legacy that series has? Up until now, if SVC Chaos is CVS 3, Smash Brothers is CVS 4, Tekken 7 is CVS 5, we had to wait this long for CVS 6. Capcom finally gave us Capcom versus SNK again. They're fucking back, bruh. I want to see some of that fanboy shit. Because that was the really cool thing about this trailer and the interviews that they had with Mats and Nakayama. The cool thing about it was, Kawano is an Evo champion. He was like, who is Mai? He didn't even know who this character was. But I fuck with that because fuck these kids, first of all. Second, I like it because they said, you know why we put them in? Because we're fans of them. We like them. Fuck y'all. I like that shit. And now it makes me think about other devs and the other guest characters that they put in the games. So now I'm thinking like, dude, why the fuck would they put Negan in Tekken? And then I'm looking at Michael Murray and I'm like, oh, they probably just like The Walking Dead. You know, that kind of thing. But I fuck with it because it's like, you know, fuck you guys. I just wanted to put them in my game. I like them. There's something about that I fuck with. Yeah. All right, I'll be real. So look, the miss with this DLC is, actually, I'll be real. So first of all, Elena, I cannot say I'm thrilled, but I'm interested. Here's the thing. SF6 is really good about revisiting characters and their toolkits and making them somewhat interesting. Giving them something new, giving them a new spin. So even though like Elena, you know, like last time we saw her, she's pretty toxic, right? But if her presentation is good and maybe if they come up with something interesting, some interesting spins on her to play with, you know, she could be all right. I can see a world where she's all right. I'm not opposed to it. I wouldn't have asked for her, don't get me wrong, but I'm not opposed to it. This pick, to me, it's almost expected. Like, kind of sleep, you know, like he probably should have been base roster. That's the problem. The only issue with SF6 that I have is it's taken a long time to cook, but I feel like this game's going to be around long enough to where, like, fuck it. You might as well just write it out, you know? I said when I first touched it, I was like, I feel like this game will be real good in, like, 2 or 3 years. Just because I want, like, higher volume of characters, seeing how they approach the system mechanics changes over time, that kind of stuff, right? And this is kind of playing out to that. Mai and Terry, they put 2 guest characters in, and no. Here's my thing. It's Street Fighter at this point. After Street Fighter 4, after Cross Tekken, after 5, who do you want? What do you want? I mean, I guess if you're a fanboy like that, you probably have. There's a lot of people who say they want Makoto. You don't want Makoto, dude. That character. Fuck Makoto, dude. Fuck Makoto fans. Fuck Makoto players. She fucking sucks. Come on, man. Like, who do you want? That's the problem I come to is I like Nash, I like Guile, I like Maki. There's a few other characters that I like, but I think they're either obvious additions or they're already in the game. So I don't really feel like, oh yeah, I want this character in there. Yeah. If I'm being honest, the characters that I most would want to see are characters that are cut from the same cloth mentally as the characters that they added in Street Fighter V. So what I mean by that is like Colleen and kind of how they took her out of Gil's entrance and then like re-homunculified her. I don't know what they did. Characters like her, I don't like Zeku, but the idea behind Zeku and kind of like the way they did it. Akira, those kinds of characters and the way they went that route, I'm waiting for them to kind of get to that point with character additions where it's like not necessarily like weird lore characters or anything like that, but I kind of want, I'm on the old head shit where I'm like, man, I want to see them put another Rival Schools character in and just rework them and make them work in 6, or fucking put Captain Commando in the game. The kind of like off the wall picks and seeing how they go with it and how, if they can make it interesting, that to me is what I kind of would like to see. But that also begs the question, if Mai and Terry are in this game. So don't get me wrong, I'm hyped to see Terry and Mai. I think it's cool. I think it's great. I'm super surprised they even did this shit, to be honest with you. Especially season 2, especially with only 4 character slots. If I'm being honest, these are probably the 2 most vanilla SNK characters they could have possibly picked. That's the only like negative I could kind of say about it. I feel like Mai, in my mind anyway, is more hype than Terry, but I'm like, you know, like I get it, you know, it's Terry, man, you can't say no to him, but I feel like, what if they would have done like Geese? Like Geese would have been tight, you know what I mean? Like, just because you get the dynamic between him, Akuma, and Bison, that would have been tight. Or, you know, like Iori and Geese would have been tight. Or there's so, the thing with SNK characters is they had so many options, right? But either way, I think this is pretty cool. I think it's tight just for the fans. Not the Zoomer ones, y'all can get fucked. But the old heads who like have memories and like nostalgia for SNK shit, I think this is pretty cool. Man, it's gonna be really hard to predict like where they're going with characters and season passes for this game, right? If they're willing to do this a year or 2 before you have some even like stable characters, I wonder what the hell they're thinking for like seasons 3 and beyond, you know? I thought this was pretty cool. The Bison trailer dropped too. There's a lot of lore shit, story shit. You know, he's got the horse with him. The whole time I'm seeing this shit, I'm thinking about Rao from Hokuto no Ken. I don't know if anybody else is thinking that. But they also dropped this voice actor. Wakamoto, I think only does like, he's like almost 80 years old. He only does like 1 or 2 voice roles a year now. The JP voice actor for this character is changed now. Unfortunately, his one role for the year was Johnny in Strive. Talk about an L. But, you know. Seems cool so far. I think what's cool about this so far, especially with the way that they show off his moves, I think across Street Fighter in general, Dictator might be the character that is the most different across all iterations of the games. Like, they're very unafraid to experiment with this character in terms of his build, how he plays, what moves he has or doesn't have. They're very open to reinventing him or changing him or kind of like picking and choosing how they want him to be in the game, if that makes sense. And it seems like 6 is a bit of a departure in a few ways. He has a lot of, like, look at him, like, running full screen to Drive Rush. Devil's Reverse and Knee Press seem like pretty interesting changes. He has his Mine, you see, too. Yeah, sometimes he has Psycho Crusher, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he has a Fireball, sometimes he doesn't, you know? It could be other shit. But he's constantly kind of like reinvented. To the point where like if you ask for, you can have like an all-time idea of like what this character is, and you have like a wide array of moves to choose from. The horse design, I think it's reminiscent of the old Street Fighter 2 anime in some ways. I don't really know the lore or the story, because especially some of this stuff is built off of Street Fighter 5. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. The second Nikali was on screen and he turned into a puddle of goo, I kind of mentally checked out on that shit. I think I'm over Street Fighter story. At this point, just give me some cool shit. I'm pretty easy to please. As long as it's not the fucking Devour Hour or some dumb shit like that, and you know, they're talking shit and doing cool shit, I guess I'm cool. You know? I'm pretty easy to please with some of this stuff. I swear to God, that motherfucker turned into goo or whatever, and I was like, I'm not feeling it. But overall, this DLC, I'm sure some people are upset. All I can say is hold that shit, bruh. This is pretty cool to me. I like it.